Girls, I'm going to talk pretty fast while I do this, so you'll have to pause if you need to. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the product rule today, and the product rule is on your formula sheet. I'm going to write it slightly different than that, and I'm going to put it up here, and I want you to put it up here too. It says that if y is equal to u times v, and I'll talk about that in a minute, then dy dx is equal to u dash v plus v dash u. Okay, that's confusing right now, but it won't be in about 2 seconds, or about 2 minutes. And your formula sheet writes it this way. They in fact write, which is right, that dy dx is equal to, and they say the derivative of v with respect to x times u plus the derivative of u with respect to x of v. This is the same thing. These are just written in the opposite order. Okay, so this is on your formula sheet. This is the one we're going to be using in class, and it will become clear when we study some other rules why I changed that around. Okay, so usually we would differentiate this by expanding, and just trust me, when you expand this, you get this. You can do that yourself. And then when I find f dash of that, it's easy enough. It's 2x minus 3. Okay, so that's what we get for the derivative. Now we're going to use the product rule. Not that I would ever use the product rule for this, but I'm going to use it because I just want to show you how to use it. Okay, so this is what we do. We take each part of the product, so two things being multiplied together, and I don't expand it. And I say this one is going to be my u, right? Two things multiplied together, x plus 2. And this thing is going to be my v. So that's the other thing. And then I take the derivative of each one. And I write it like this, u dash, because I'm taking the derivative of it with respect to x. So there's a 1 right there, so that's 1. And this one also 1. And then I do my little ditty here. I say, okay, well then the derivative, and I can write f dash again, that's fine, is, okay, here it is, it's u dash v. So it's that times that. 1 times that, plus that times that, 1 times that. And that comes out to be 2x minus 3, which is exactly the same thing. Okay, so it's a rule that gives it to me. All right, so let's try a harder one where we actually would use the product rule. And I know you have that rule up there in front of you right now, so that's good. Okay, here I go. I say, if y equals blah, okay, I can see the two things being multiplied together, so that's what I write. So they ask me about u and v, and I go, okay, u is this, and v is going to be this. Okay, so you just split it into the two things that are product, and then you take the derivative of each one. So u dash is just 3, and v dash in this case, a little bit longer, is 2x plus 4. I hope you can get that. Now I want the derivative of uv. Well, I told you upstairs it was u dash v plus v dash u. So I just say derivative of the first times the second, derivative of the second times the first, right? It's always that. Okay, let's do it now. We've got to be really careful. I'm going to use brackets everywhere. So I'm going to do u dash, which is 3, no bracket around 3, times v, oops, where am I, times v, x squared plus 4x plus 3, then there's a plus sign, and then it's v dash, got to use brackets, times u, have to use brackets. Okay, so if it's any sum or difference, I have to use brackets. And then I'm going to try to simplify that by expanding, and I'm going to expand here, and just trust me that I'm doing it correctly, and you can do it at a later date by yourselves. That's 12, and that's negative 2, and that's negative 4. And then I'm going to, oops, that's a squared. Then I'm going to combine like terms. Okay, and that's my derivative. It would be really long to expand that out, but you can. You write that this is f dash of x. Let's write that. Okay, or dy dx. Okay, now let's do a problem where I have to think of a little bit. It says the sides of a rectangle in millimeters are varying with time. So this must be shrinking or growing, okay? And it gives in seconds, and it gives the two sides. And so it says express the function that's area. So I know that's length times width. Now you're very welcome on a test to expand that. But in this time, I'm going to use the product rule just because we're just learning it. Okay, and usually when I do this, I go, okay, that's U and that's V. I don't write it all over again. And then I write U dash equals 2t and V dash equals 3. Okay, so I kind of simplify it a little bit. Then I write my formula down. I say, okay, A dash equals U dash V plus V dash U. If you keep writing that every time, then you'll learn it more quickly. And then I'm going to write that. I'm going to write U dash 2t, there's no sum, so I don't need brackets, times V. There are is a sum, so I better use a bracket. Then the plus sign, V dash 3 times U. I'm going to simplify that. I hope I'm doing these right because I'm doing it fast. Then I get that. And I'm done. Okay. Now it says calculate the rate of change against time when t is 2 seconds. Well, this is the rate of change of area, so I need to plug 2 into there, okay, to figure out what the rate of change is at 2. But I'm going to show you something on your calculator that's really clever. I don't remember if we did it yesterday or not, and I hope you can see that. Oh, you can. Okay, I'm going to go to this nice key. It's under Math, and it's called Math 8, N-deriv. And it says I can take the derivative with respect to x of something. So I'm going to type this in here. X, I know it says t, but I'll use x. X squared plus 2 bracket bracket 3x plus 8 bracket, okay, at a certain number. So it doesn't take the derivative for you and give you that, but it will evaluate at a certain number. And in my problem it says at t equals 2. So I'm going to put 2 seconds. And then I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to give me 74. So at t equals 2, whoops, rate of change is 74, what was it in millimeters? Millimeters per second. Okay. If you type 2 in here for x, 9 times 2 squared plus 16 times 2 plus 6, just to check ourselves, putting 2 in for t, I also get 74. Okay, so that's really good. All right, I left at the top just a couple of questions for you to try for now. We'll see how you go.